Come along and see the process of reseeding a pasture using a drill I rented from the county for $100. I have a 15-acre pasture at my farm in Princeton, Kansas that I wanted to reseed with some good grass seed that would be beneficial for my cows in the upcoming year, or years really. I reseeded this pasture in 2012, and last year we didn't have a ton of rain, so it didn't grow that well, and I had a ton of cows on it, way too many of them. So I felt like I did some abuse to the pasture, and I wanted to rejuvenate it this year. So I have my tractor, but I don't have a seed drill, so I rented that from the Franklin County Conservation District. So to put things into perspective, I turned to Google Earth, typing in the address to the farm, and from outer space, in we go. And this will highlight the 15-acre pasture that just came into frame there. And it is nice and level. I had a contour put into it to help with runoff to the east. And up top is east right now. So as I outline this, and I'll switch the measurements into feet and acres, you'll notice that it's just a touch over 15 acres. In order to plant the pasture, I had to buy some grass seed. As you can see, I purchased 8 50-pound bags, so 400 pounds of seed, $123 a bag. Purchased it from the local co-op, the Ottawa Co-op. My buddy Tim here is helping me. He got the forklift and brought out a pallet, and then helped me load them into the truck. I got to know Tim about 10 years ago. He was fresh out of school. He's an agronomist, and I came in owning a farm for the first time and asking a million questions. I don't really do a ton of business with them, but they treat me real nice. They always know my name when I walk in and seem happy to see me. But now we're off to the Franklin County Conservation District. It's a government agency that helps with soil conservation and all those things. They got this beautiful drill as we walk around it. I was surprised at how nice it was, brand new. And you rent it, it's super cheap. It's like $100. So if you've ever had to load up a trailer, sometimes it can be difficult. You play the game of pull forward, go back, pull forward, go back. But on this day it worked out pretty good. I got it on the first try after adjusting the hitch a little bit. So just back up the truck a little bit, got it right in line, and then I just dropped the hitch pin in. Okay, all loaded up, so off to the farm. Got about a 5-mile drive down the highway to the farm. Now that I'm off the highway, I pull into the farm. I drive this around to the pasture that I'm seeding before I take it off of the truck. Just pull around, jack it up, take it off. Comes with a pretty standard jack. You just twist it. It'll get the weight of the cedar off of the trailer hitch. Then you just pull the pin. After purchasing the seed, I had to unload it so I could come back the next day and plant. This was a Friday afternoon. It's the only time I had to go get the seed, which would be fine. I got everything out of the way so that the next morning I could wake up bright and early and spend as much time as I needed, which turned out to be a lot of time. It's time to get the seed drill attached to the tractor, so I just back up the tractor using my eyesight to align it, get out, make sure everything seems to line up, and then just lower down the hitch. Move the tractor back just a little bit more. Okay, right there, and then drop the hitch pin in. The tips on the hydraulic lines needed to be switched to the John Deere version. The seed drill comes with the ISO version. So I just took them off. And when I finish up seeding, I'll just put the original ones back on. With the correct tips on, you just push them in and twist this little lock and you're ready to go. Now we take off the safety stops that they put on the hydraulic cylinder for transport. This basically keeps the hydraulics from leaking down while you're driving, which would drop the planter down into and try to plant on concrete, which would ruin it. So they stow away nicely on the frame, and then we put it into gear. So now my first test of dropping the cedar into the ground. As I drive along, I let the hydraulics go, and it goes right in. So now it's time to put the seed in the cedar. 8 bags, 50 pounds a piece, 400 pounds. So it's a little bit of a workout lifting those up. Load them in the truck, take them out, lift them above your head onto the cedar. Well, at any rate, just cut the bags open and dump it in. You can see that little metal thing that I'm getting caught up on right now is the float, essentially, that tells how much seed you have left, so you can see it from the operator station on the tractor. So just kept dumping seed bag after seed bag in here. I put 5 in initially. Now that all the seed is in the cedar, it's time to test it. So drug it forward just a little bit after dropping the hydraulics and found out that there was a little bit of an issue. I left the seed gates open. So basically it just dumped seed on the ground. You can even see strips of seed literally laying on the ground, and that's the initial dump. So you live and you learn. I just closed them, and then the rest is fine. To get the appropriate settings for the drill, you adjust this according to this. We're on drive type 2, 7.5 inch rows. I want about 25 pounds per acre, so the setting is 60. Kentucky bluegrass, 7.5 on drive 2, 25 pounds per acre. Go up there, your setting is 60. So I put it to 60, just loosened a wing nut down below, moved it over farther than what I wanted, and then back again. So the last setup step is to adjust the seating depth. So in the very rear of the cedar, you have these handles that you pull up and then adjust to the proper hole. Each movement of that is 1/8 of an inch in depth. So I wanted it pretty shallow, so I put it on the first notch. The very first notch is 0, but I wanted it planted at 1/8 of an inch. So a few shots of the actual drill working. About to let down the hydraulics. You can see the cutting a hole, dropping the seed, and then packing it down with those wheels. And then this is what the drill looks like from the operator station. Should move along. Another shot here, and you can see the depth of seed or how much is left. We're running on E in this shot here. So I was on the tractor for 5 hours. So in that time, my cows entertained me. These two here, the one on the left, Norma, she lived in our backyard in Overland Park as a calf. We bottle fed her. But her little buddy there, they were headbutting each other and following me along as I planted. So they kept me company. Well, I'm done seeding, and you can see the rows where it seeded in the new seed. But in the past, when I did it before, you could see how that was the width of the seed drill, and then these were skipped, and it makes a huge difference. And it drives me crazy looking at the pasture that way. But so the day after I completed the seeding, actually the night of it, we got 4/10 of an inch of rain. So today is April 7th. I planted on April 6th. It'll be fun to watch this sprout up and become something nice.